I wanted to talk about drawing with a scratch pad. When I say drawing with a scratch pad, I mean having some type of thing off to the side to be able to draw on. If you're trying to work on something you plan to maybe give to someone or use in a larger composition, every line is unique, and the one method that I try to rely on is ghosting. And when I say ghosting, that's drawing before you actually execute the drawing mark that you want to make. So that is good and all, but let's say you really don't know what the thing is that you want to draw, and you kind of just want to work on it loosely. I think that's the benefit of a scratch pad. So let's say here you have your final drawing, or like let's just call it like a composition. And you kind of don't want to draw on it until you have an idea of something. So I think the benefit of having a piece of paper to the side, and it can be the same size or it can be smaller, but I think having something like this could be a really good idea before you add it onto your compositional piece. Because having that little area to experiment before you do it can give you like a whole bunch of different ways to do something before you actually do it. Like, I wish I could think of an example off the top of my head. I'm just gonna do that. And let's say you wanted to add like a cylinder. Actually, how about a cone? Let's say you wanted to add a cone to your drawing, right? So you draw a cone on your scratch pad, and then you can kind of put it like next. Like if you took it and you kind of compared it and put it next to something in your composition, you would see whether it works or not before you actually decide to draw it on your composition. It's easier with digital because one, you could work on different layers, so technically everything could be a scratch pad. Personally, I think what I've seen other people do, that's kind of how they work digitally. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I think if it works, that's the good thing. I feel like a lot of the times they don't even have to transfer stuff over. But let's say you like this cone and you wanted to put it over here, but let's say like you didn't like the perspective of it. Well, the benefit to that is you didn't commit to your to you didn't commit to putting that cone on your composition. So I mean that's like awesome, right? Because you have it to the side and you don't have to worry that you ruined your composition. I mean, I know you could always either use something like whiteout or erase, but I feel like more often than not, you are not going to want to spend the time to try to work with it and do that. So on the scratch pad, you could just very well draw a different line that you want to use in your composition. Oops. And you could say something like, this is the cone. This is a cone that I wanted to use in my composition. So then you could, obviously either transfer it over, or if you're working digitally, you could, do that, or you could draw it again. But the point I wanted to mention is just how important I believe a scratch pad is. I sometimes feel like being worried about drawing something is a bit dangerous. I think it's good to be cautious of what you're drawing. Every line is important, but sometimes you do want to get in the flow. And if you are in the flow, I mean, I'm saying you can work on a composition if you are in the actual flow, but I do believe having a way to practice without being worried and also being able to kind of let your creative side run is a pretty good way to be and a pretty good way to execute your drawing. It's a lot easier with digital because you could really move stuff around. You could work on as many layers as you want to, which is incredibly important. I mean, I'm pretty sure you could use similar ways through regular drawing, but I would say personally, if I ever do that, I probably wouldn't want to do that. I would probably practice on a scratch pad, paper to the side, before I would transfer it or draw it again on a larger composition. But yeah, I hope this little tip helps you in some way. I wanted to get it out of my head because I think just, sharing it with the world is a good way to go. So I hope it helps you. If you have a question, please ask in the comments. If you like my video, please like it. If you like my channel, please subscribe. Thanks for listening. Bye.